Hi dears, this is Dinah.
Hello, Pauline here.
We just wanted to catch you up with some reminiscence of our Grand Dimash tour. We've just come back from touring around, travelling from Dubai through to Dusseldorf, through to Prague. We've had just a fabulous,
Amazing.
wonderful time. And we just wanted to share some highlights with you. And try and give you a bit of a sense of what it was like for those three amazing concerts.
It's just unbelievable. Not just the concerts, although that was what the main thing was, but it was just being with this one. Yeah, she was.
We had a ball. We had an
laughed
absolute
so
ball.
much.
We laughed our way through the whole trip. I would have to say it's probably been the best trip of
our lives.
It was so
Absolutely.
good. It was so good. And really, it was all about Dimash. It was all about Dimash. We were just so excited to go to Dubai. I have to say, we were planning this trip for 2 years, yeah? 2 years we were planning this trip. We were FaceTiming, talking about it, planning it. There were so many times when we thought it wouldn't go,
never gonna happen.
when we thought we couldn't go. Right up to the last moments, really.
Yeah.
And I had to have a COVID test in Australia before I left to come to London. And all of my anxiety was there. I just thought if I test positive, I'm just going to be devastated.
Well,
but
it wasn't just that COVID test. At the time, it was going to be, we'd have to do PCR tests in every country that we entered within that 48 hours, and we was just thinking, oh my God, it's just going to be so difficult. But by the time we did eventually travel, that was all gone.
We didn't have to do one COVID test. And I have to say that we were holding our breath the whole trip. We had decided that if one of us got COVID, obviously the other one wouldn't be able to go to concerts or whatever. So we were holding our breath through that whole tour. And I have to tell you that last night in Prague, when we made it through the doors of the arena, that just felt so good. We knew that we'd got right through our trip. Without getting sick, without any major mishaps at all. We had some funny mistakes and mishaps happen, but nothing really serious. So it feels like a miracle. It feels like a miracle that we're sitting here now.
I know,
and we had that experience, we had that opportunity, and I feel incredibly blessed to have shared this with Pauline, to have done this trip in the way that we did. Met so many of you beautiful dears, honestly, amazing. So many of you. And for me, this is what it's all about, Dimash and dears. And this trip has been about Dimash and dears.
It's beyond our wildest dreams, what we've experienced, and my heart is sort of...
Our hearts are changed, and I think a lot of you dears understand that. This adventure with this man, this incredible man with such an incredible voice, has already changed us. But after this trip, I know I'll be going back to Australia, with a renewed heart and with a renewed admiration for this man's voice, for his skills, for his mastery, for his beautiful soul, and the love and the gratitude that he's given us. And we've been able to share that with him. We managed to get up close to him quite a few times, both of us, and I can't even explain what it's like. No autographs, but it was hectic. It was hectic many times, and it wasn't the place for it most often. But we were in his presence, and I have to say, those of you that are imagining what it might be like to be up close and in his presence, I can tell you it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. This trip was worth every single bit of courage and pizzazz that we had to do what we did and to get there and to get around. So we just want to share some highlights really with you. Yeah, there are so many. We'll probably forget, but we want to talk to you a little bit more often too. So we've got a lot to say, haven't we? We're not going to say it all today, but we definitely have a lot of things to share with you. So just to start us off, I want to ask Pauline, what was your highlight from the Dubai concert?
Well, just the excitement of getting to the concert and waiting, and he left us waiting for quite a long time.
He did. We were
8 o'clock start. It didn't start till 25 to 9ish.
Yeah. And the hall was rocking. I can tell
Yeah.
you, we were stamping, we were chanting his name, we were going off.
Yeah.
I'm sure he was standing, waiting to come on stage. I'm sure he
Yeah.
was feeling really good by the time he got on.
I think my highlight has to be War and Peace. Just the speech that he made, and you could see that it wasn't rehearsed. It was from his heart, and he was lost for words too. He was absolutely lost for words. And I think for emotional, that was the concert that I will always remember. I'll remember all of them, but that one, it touched my heart to see him the way that he was. And just the things that he said, that he loved us, he loves us more.
Yeah.
Loved us too much.
Yeah.
With all of his heart.
That's my favourite memory from Dubai.
Yeah.
Right at the end, he'd come down to the audience.
Yeah.
He'd run along that front row. People were interacting with him. He was so happy. You could see that he was so happy to be back. And he stood on the stage at the end. He had his hand on his heart, and he looked out at us with so much love. And he said, "I love you too much."
Didn't want to go.
Yeah, with all my heart. And you could see that he really meant that, and that meant the world to me, to us.
Yeah.
And we realised he was in fine voice. His voice was amazing.
Crazy good.
He was doing things with his voice that I've never heard before at that concert in Dubai. And it had a very special feel to it, didn't it? Dubai is exotic and very warm, which I really liked. Very warm, embracing place, and I think that really rubbed off on the concert. It was very exotic, very warm, very embracing. Yeah. Very emotional. Yeah. Dimash was nervous.
And his arms.
Yes, when he showed us his beautiful arms. He was nervous. He told us a few times he was nervous. And I love that about Dimash, that he can be vulnerable with us. And he's so comfortable with doing that. Yeah. But you could see his confidence grow, especially after he said his piece for War and Peace. His confidence, he really relaxed, and his confidence really grew.
And that his son couldn't leave was
that was
so
beautiful.
Unexpected and a beautiful surprise.
Yeah. Absolutely beautiful.
That was lovely.
Yeah.
And it did go on for longer than.
Yeah, that was the longest concert, wasn't it? It was the longest concert. He sang the most songs in that set. Yeah. He just gave us so much of himself that night. And
it was just brilliant.
It was a phenomenal way to start the tour. Yeah. And we loved Dubai. We had a ball in Dubai. We did so many mad things.
We had some moments.
And we had some really funny moments. So, so that was a really good start to the tour. And then we came back to London for a week, and we got ready, and then we flew to Dusseldorf.
So I can't do it. I can't go on.
Sorry, we've tried to do this segment like 4 times. We keep dissolving into laughter. We're going to talk about Dusseldorf now. Dusseldorf was amazing. It was fantastic, and it was so different to Dubai. Loved being in Dusseldorf. It was cold. I ended up buying a really thick coat because I would need the thick coat for how cold it was. And I wore it one day and really didn't need it the rest of the time. Prague was quite warm. But we met dears from all over, from Norway, from Denmark, from New Zealand. Susan was there from New Zealand. Lots of different places. And it was so much fun to share Dimash with other dears who understand. And we'll also talk endlessly about Dimash and his amazing voice. So that was definitely a highlight for Dusseldorf. We went to the pre-party and we didn't have much time then to get ready for the concert, but we got there.
Yes.
We got there to the concert. Dusseldorf concert was really polished. It was a really polished concert. His voice was just amazing in that particular venue.
Yeah, and he was obviously really, really confident.
I think
Dubai was nervous, but Dusseldorf, oh my God, he was just so good.
He was flying, and just the embellishments in his voice at the end of songs, in the middle of songs, like just everywhere. I've just never heard him in such fine voice, I don't think. And yes, I think he realised from Dubai, this is it, I'm back, dears are with me, and he was really flying. And we were up close at the Dusseldorf concert, and that made such a difference. We had really good seats, and it was really great to be up that close, and we and I was there. Okay, so on to Prague.
Wow.
Yeah, I have to say, Prague just wowed us. It totally wowed me. It's full of character. Prague is full of character. And we just loved being outside in the streets. It was really warm weather. It was actually 17, 18 degrees on a couple of those days. And we just loved it. If you guys have seen our photos, just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, loved
stunning.
Prague. Loved Prague.
Yeah. And the Prague concert, well, actually, no, we have to start with the arrival, don't we? Because that day will stand out, I think, in our memories of this tour. We had word that Dimash would be arriving in front of the arena at 4:30 on Friday.
Yeah.
And I can remember thinking, that's going to be great. How's that going to work? Well, Dimash arrived eventually after 5 hours waiting in the free, and it got really cold. It did get really cold, and I didn't have my coat. It got really cold. So, but it was just a fantastic time to really connect with other dears during that whole 5 hours, and we met some amazing dears.
During that wait. Amazing in that wait.
They had some beautiful girls there dressed in traditional costume waiting to greet Dimash. Not sure that it went quite the way they'd wanted it to, because we waited so long, and in the end quite a lot of people had left. But there would have been 3 times as many people there had he come on time. But there was still a lot of people there waiting like us by the end. But it was just so much fun. It was so much fun connecting with other dears.
Yeah, it was so good.
And chatting about how we'd met Dimash and the joy that Dimash has brought into our lives, and the connections, and even when we couldn't speak each other's languages, we
wasn't a problem.
It wasn't a problem.
No.
We were just connecting. We were laughing. We were having fun.
Lots of hugging,
lots of dears hugging.
Crazy.
That will definitely go down, I think, in my memory as being a really special time. And then, of course, Dimash arrived, and I know it looked like bedlam on the videos, but honestly, for those of us there, it just felt like a beautiful exchange of love, really. Dimash looked really, really happy. Both his mum and dad and Rasul were smiling. They were happy. It was evident that he couldn't get out of the car. He had lots of room there, but he couldn't really get out to see everybody. So it was his decision to climb on top of the roof.
Yeah.
To lots of cheering from dears, and he was loving it. And once he was up there, he could see all the dears, and all the dears could see him. It was a perfect solution. And it did look like a crush. I've been at a few Dimash crushes by now. It's all good. It's all okay. It's exactly what happens at those kind of events. There are other events where it's much calmer, and yes, there's much more room to do different things. They're just different kinds of events. It's not a prediction of what is going to happen in the future. It's just one of those one of those things, really.
Yeah.
And we loved it, and we
Yes.
will have amazing memories from that particular event. And then the concert.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow, wow.
Wow.
Just unbelievable. Now, we're talking about Prague.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, because we've sat in so many different areas of all the concerts, and we wasn't. We was in row 10, I think.
Yeah.
To the
right.
right.
To the
yeah,
right
to
side.
the right side. And we was quite thinking, oh, I wish we had upgraded. And then when it started, we felt as if we had the best seats because we was on the side aisle.
Yeah, we were on the side.
And we saw him perfectly.
Yeah.
And the sound was crazy.
It was crazy good.
Yeah.
It was really unreal.
Unbelievable. Yeah. And there was just a completely different feel. Even before it started, we was sort of going through to the arena, and we said, "Oh my God, this is really raw."
Yeah,
it
felt raw and a bit wild.
Yeah.
It was rocking, and I loved it. I totally loved it. It was very different to Dusseldorf and Dubai.
Yeah.
All three concerts had a completely different atmosphere.
Yeah, definitely.
Completely different feel.
Yeah.
And I think it brought out different aspects of Dimash, really.
Absolutely.
Because in Prague, he was so relaxed. He was so playful. He was really enjoying it, was my impression of that.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I had my most precious moment in Prague.
Yeah, with Ave
when
Maria.
He was singing Ave Maria. And I was standing, because all of us were standing along that edge there, and I was looking out on the arena. The lights were dimmed, and it was just an adoring crowd. The lights were dimmed. Dimash's voice was just reverberating around that arena, and I barely survived it. It just felt like there was so much love and joy in my whole being in those moments. Listening to Dimash's voice swell, I honestly could barely take it. It just felt so amazing.
Well, it was the only song that you didn't video.
Yeah, it was one of the few that I didn't. I just decided I wanted to immerse myself in that sound, and I'm so glad I did.
And I can remember looking to my right where Dinah was, and just looking at her, and she was in a moment of utter bliss. I thought, oh, it's just so lovely.
Yeah.
But
so, like, it's those moments that you can't really get from a video, dears. This is why we all are busting to get to see him live, because there is something about his voice when you're actually there, the resonance in your whole being that you can never get through a video.
No.
And this hasn't sated our appetite for Dimash concerts at all, has it?
No.
We want to go again and again and again and again, and we will. And I know it's not always possible for some of you to get there to his concerts, and that is honestly one of the reasons that we wanted to take you on a bit of a journey with us. And we think it's a really important thing to do, because we want to share Dimash as much as we can. We really believe in this young man. We really want to show the world his amazingness, and we want to share our love for him. And what better way than following him around Europe to all his concerts. So, like I said, we want to share some more highlights with you, share more of what we got up to in each country, different country, but we just wanted to give you a bit of an overview today.
Yeah. And
we want to say we're really glad that we could take you with us in some kind of a way, and there's so much more we want to share with you.
Yes.
Have a look at the fan cams in the rest of the channel, and we will be back.
Yeah.
Bye. Hi, dears.
Hello.
Hi. This is Dinah.
I'm Pauline.
And we just wanted to
So anyway, let me
watch
ask.
that back?
Let me.
Should we watch that
you
back?
Turned it off. You've got it on.
It's off.
It's on. Right. Okay. Now on to Dusseldorf. So Dana, what was your highlight?
Well, my highlight for Dusseldorf has to be that I ended up down the front at the end, in those intense moments when Dimash comes down off stage, and I was lucky enough to be right up close to him. Oh my goodness, like, you know, I had a little.
Let's go 1, 2, 3. So okay, so what's your views on Dusseldorf?
On Dusseldorf, well, Dusseldorf was great. It was fantastic. After
So Dinah,
so we've been practicing, and Pauline's been practicing. So Dinah, tell us about Dusseldorf.
Get it out.